Hi, YouTube. It's Angela. Here we are with another energy update for this week. Let's see what the cards say. I'm starting off with brought to you by the letter Y, as in yes. This is the first card that popped up. I love it. The symbolism of Ganesh is there to remove blocks, clear your pathway. Using a positive mindset helps, right? Helps to clear those blocks that we experience. And if you can think of just in one area of your life, first think of something in the past that you were resistant against. And it was no. And then at some point if at some point you relinquish, that hold and just allowed for whatever was present to flow through, and past you, you may realize that just by allowing, by saying that yes, and allowing these things to just flow as they are, as they present themselves, makes for an easier path, right? I'm not saying that, everyone's path in life is completely simple and easy and free. No one's is, right? No one's. And it's our, it's our work to be here and not to try to manipulate things externally, but to realign and reframe what's going on in your inner being so that you can move through that flow as well. I had a little incident, I guess, a little story to tell you about yesterday. My daughter had lost something, and that was it. She was frustrated over giving up. Can't find it. I don't know how I'm going to replace that or whatever. And I worked with her on, getting into the moment and saying, okay, it's not here now. We don't know where it is, but we can put a solution in place to look for it. Right. And I said, the resistance and the no's that you're saying are creating a big fat no in your life, and you won't be able to see where this lost item is. I said the universe is allowing you, is providing you an opportunity now to go about it in a new way, to find a new solution for what you thought was something that was ended and over. So look for that new way. And we were driving and we're at a stoplight, and she looked to her right, and they're on this building. No lie, there was a sign that said New Way, NEWAY, New Way. And it was like, she was like, oh my God, like I'm like Mama's a witch. But no, yes, that's what results from the word yes, is you start seeing how with that positive mindset, with that forward-looking, solution-oriented attitude and perception, the answers start coming. They show up even in the smallest, most insignificant ways. So I love this topic for this week's reading, because yes opens your doorways, right? Now that isn't to say if there is like another personality you're in conflict with and they just want to overpower everything and not give you a voice in it, don't say yes to that, right? You say yes to your own truth, right? Your own alignment and what's right for you, and move forward in that. The next card I pulled is the Ancient Oak Spirit, representing strength. And this is what I meant by saying standing in your own truth. This is where your power is. Being able to be aligned with your truth and be empowered by it, and not in an overpowering way, right? Not in a aggressive or defiant way, but just in a quiet, confident way. Knowing what your truth is will help you to, be intuitively guided in the right direction that you need to go. On the heels of this yes, that strength really shows up. It really adds to that power of yes. This represents your endurance, your courage, wisdom, your inner nobility, and to be able to stand with that. And even if the answer or the solution or the outcome isn't visible to you right away, remaining in your power, remaining in your truth will eventually lead you to the right way for you, whether it was that preconceived idea of what's right in your mind, or if it's something else the universe has in store for you. Like with my daughter, when I said we're going to find a new way, and she looked and was like, oh, new way. So that is that's that second card there. And then from there I pulled Dragonfly, emergence. So now this is kind of a new cycle, you're emerging into a new understanding, a new level of awareness for yourself spiritually. Your previous sort of defenses or ego-based perceptions can be left behind now, because you're ascending into another level of understanding. Remember, it started with a yes. And now you get to, even if this is, like I said, not, dramatic, life-changing emergence, it still is to be looked for and to be cued into as to, oh, okay, I see now how by, me standing in my truth and creating that self-empowerment from within and saying yes and being open and allowing for whatever is to come to guide me in my needed direction, it creates a new understanding. And if you look back onto how maybe you have been more resistant in the past, the difference here should be pretty noticeable. A broader, wider state of consciousness with heightened intuition. And sometimes this might feel sudden, and the emergence, like the dragonfly, I think, unlike the butterfly, it doesn't have a cocoon stage, right? It goes from egg to nymph and can remain there in the nymph stage for a few years until it emerges. And then it feels sudden. It feels like a sudden shift, but really the prep work has been going on behind the scenes and underneath, and this is according to you and your soul and your spirit. You're prepping for this, right? You're ready for it. So I love that, because, the yes leads to realigning your strength, leads to another level of awareness, a new phase. And then what we got is flow, the goddess Lakshmi. And this is, taking the shift from the focus on lack, right? Like we said, that ego-based sort of defenses that we had before, shifting from the focus on lack of, in the areas of, say, love or wealth or, your joy, lack of time, those things that keep us constricted and keep us in place just by the attitude alone, right? It's a polar opposite of yes, that focus on lack. And this card is asking to shift that and focus on the abundance, focus on your, your spiritual and material, physical world creations and prosperity, and where the flow, move toward the flow, wherever the flow is, go with that, because that's where that sort of greases the wheels for your energy to move past certain situations. Okay, and then I pulled Zen cards, tarot cards, to clarify these oracles. And I'm going to start with the yes card, since this is like kind of the topic of the whole reading, to go along with yes and unobstructed paths. I pulled receptivity, stay open, and I pulled going with the flow, which is what we just talked about with the last oracle. So I love that, because that's kind of the formula for getting things moving energetically is, stay open, whatever comes, move in the direction that feels best. Mind you, both of these cards are water based in the Zen deck, that is like cups in the traditional tarot, and those are attached to our feelings. And if we stay open to whatever is presented and then move in the direction of what feels best, that's the flow that you're looking for. move in the direction of what feels best while you're saying yes, like out loud to the universe, right? So that just sort of strengthens that concept of abundance, gratitude mindset, positivity versus, you know, the lower vibrational feelings of, you know, negativity and worry and lack. You know, this is helping you to shift just by, you know, you could just walk around and when you're alone and kind of go yes and say it out loud to the universe and see how that feels in your system. You know, and then try saying no as well and see how that feels in your system. That's, if you really get attuned to your feelings and your body, you notice, right? Okay, the cards that I pulled with the strength card, with the ancient oak. Interesting. I pulled stress and I pulled politics. This is the masks that we wear. And remember, when we talked about strength, we were talking about standing in your truth. Stand in your truth. That means drop the mask. And that will create, you know, it will help you drop some of the stress, right? Is what I kind of felt. It was a whole 1, 2, 3 punch there by allowing your truth to be in the forefront, and the most dominant energy within you. Then there's no need to shield or hide or, you know, say what you don't mean or present as something different than what you are. There's no need for that, which already when we're putting on the masks and, you know, blocking and shielding our true self and not standing in our truth, a lot of times that's where most of our stress comes from, right? Is just not being aligned with what feels best for us, right? So I like that. It's a reminder to, you know, drop those shields, stand in your truth, and remember what I said earlier is to not have to be overt and overpowering and hugely defiant in your truth. It's just to be in touch with it within and know what's right for you and move accordingly. And that's it. There doesn't have to be any big dramatics or any external showing of that energy. Okay, and then with the dragonfly card, emergence, I pulled ripeness. I love this because remember we talked about the dragonfly, how it moves from egg to nymph and then just becomes you know, a full, the dragonfly itself, it comes after whatever that quiet period is during the nymph stage. It develops into dragonfly and then just shows up, right? It shows up. And that ripeness card is kind of going along with that energy as far as, you know, when the time is right, the path will show up. And the redirection, if you're seeking a redirection, if you're stuck in the no world and you're feeling, I can't see where I'm headed, I don't know what my goal is or what my answer is, flipping that script and saying yes, finding your truth, aligning with it. And then when the time is right, it shows up and the answers come and then you're back in flow. With the ripeness card, to go with that dragonfly card, I pulled possibilities. One of my favorites, you know that. I've pulled this before, how our perception means everything, right? If we want to be that creature that lives in the bottom of the valley there and really its only reality is, you know, mushrooms and the blades of grass and the crickets, that's okay. You can have that limited view, but with that energy of yes behind you, right? And that truth of your inner being really being shored up within, it becomes even more meaningful because now your perspective, remember we talked about raising consciousness to another level, to another perspective here. Yeah, and with that perspective comes more possibility. You see the entire landscape ahead. You even see behind you and what was prior and maybe lessons how to you know, realign things to move forward. Now, as always, all my readings are energetic. This is from an energy perspective. This isn't always literal. You know, it could apply to a literal situation in your life, However, it is born and begins with that shift in energy within, right? So let's keep that in mind. And then with the flow card, with this card, and letting things, move as they want to, as they will, unobstructed, right? I pulled moment to moment. Another favorite. We love this card. This is trusting that your path has full support, whatever it is you choose to embark on, whatever direction you choose to go in. You have full support from the universe, from your own energy, from the collective. Your timing and your decision on when to, take the next step becomes clearer when you're in present moment awareness, when you can really sort of shave away all the mental energies, the situational circumstances, other people's opinions, jumping ahead too far with worry, staying rooted in regret or guilt or shame, keeping you held to the past. This moment now, every with every breath, right? That's where you find that power. That's where you actually find that strength of your truth, is in the present moment. I like to say, keep your energetic feet right under your body. Don't jump ahead, and don't, cling behind and dig your heels in. Let the flow become part of the flow, instead of, trying to assert or create it too much. There's nothing wrong with reaching for a goal and asserting yourself, but if it's constantly that, there's going to be exhaustion and probably not as easy of a path, right? And then our final card that goes with that flow, we started with the yes, we ended with the flow, and the final Zen card to clarify there is adventure. And this reminds me of yes so much, because it's this little figure in the forest, and she's unsure, what's ahead. She doesn't really know. She sees that that's hopeful. The rainbow light makes her feel hopeful, and yet she goes toward it. She eagerly moves toward it. That's a huge yes, toward the unknown, toward the yet to be discovered, right? Beautiful the way that those came out there too. Okay, I'm going to pull a couple more here to top off this reading. And one just flew out. Let's see what that is. And kind of give us a, oh yeah, look at this. So I'm getting that maybe some of us have a lot of mental energy to sort of deconstruct from within us. I have schizophrenia, which is actually just sort of indecision, right? I don't know what way to go. This figure in these cliffs there is unsure. Do I let go of my feet? Do I let go of my hands? Either way, I'm going to go tumbling down, right? And the guidance here is to let go of the thought, of all the thought. Just let go and allow things to fall where they may, because that is, that's that energy of yes too, right? This is a huge no feeling, right? Being stuck. So it's reminding us to release those things that are blocking us, especially in our mental energy. This card is a cloud card. That's the swords in traditional tarot. And with the schizophrenia card, I pulled mind. Both of these mental energies are for some of us who feel stuck, prior to the relaxing and the ego falling away and being able to say yes to whatever's coming. So that's just sort of redefining or just strengthening that notion that holding ourselves in place and keeping our thoughts the only thing that guides us we end up feeling really crowded, because we need to sink into our heart space, sink into what feels right into our truth, and be able to feel our way through. Is to remember, we said go in the direction that feels best. And this is just that reminder for us, is that mental energy can really be taxing. on our system. And then the last card I got to sort of cancel out these two mental cards is another card of emotion, the water card, and that's understanding. This is like realizing that your access is always there. Your access to compatibility with others outside of yourself, your access to solutions, and being able to see things and feel your way through things more clearly comes with the understanding card. Those barriers, those bars are an illusion that keeps us from the other, or keeps us from our goal, keeps us from where we want to be. They're an illusion. And it's when we're willing to recognize that and revert into moment to moment awareness that we can see that nothing's really holding us back from our progress except us. Okay, so yes, all the way. That's the way to go here. I love it. I love how this came out. Send me some comments. Let me know how it came through for you. And I love you guys. See you next time.